Hello and welcome to our series of devotions as we reflect on false prophets. As we begin, let us still ourselves in a moment of quiet before God. And our prayer for this week. God be in my head and in my understanding. God be in my eyes and in my looking. God be in my mouth and in my speaking. God be in my heart and in my thinking. God be at mine end and at my departing. Amen. The reading this week is Matthew chapter 7, verses 15 to 27. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorns or figs from thistles? In the same way, every good tree bears good fruit, but the bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, you will know them by their fruits. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father in heaven. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and do many deeds of power in your name? Then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Go away from me, you evil doers. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. But it did not fall because it had been founded on rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house. And it fell, and great was its fall. So as we finish off our reflections in Matthew chapter 7, we look at the end in the last few verses from verse 24 to 27. And we end with Jesus' parable about two houses. But what Jesus is talking about in this last section is not actually the two houses. He's talking about the choice. The choice to build on him or to build on self. And a key test for false prophets is that the foundation of their life is not on Christ, but it's on themselves. They're not in the ministry business for anything other than what they can get out of it. They don't want to bring glory to Christ. They don't want to draw others to Christ. They want to draw others to themselves. They want to gain a following and feed their ego and their self-desire. Jesus says that anyone who hears these words of mine and does them is like the man who builds on rock. You could also interpret that to say that anyone who listens, obeys, and lives out these words of mine, anyone who knows what I've said and puts it into practice, is building their life on a solid foundation. They're building on rock. So that when the tough gets going, you can keep going. When it gets really tough and hard, you can keep going. False prophets, on the other hand, they're like those who choose to build on sand. They're those who build only on themselves. It's like what I think Jesus was imagining here, building on a riverbed that's dried up in the summer. But when the winter comes, the storms come, the rains come, and it just washes everything away because it's a riverbed. The river comes back and it all goes away. False prophets don't have the ability to stick out the storms of life. Why? Because it's all built on themselves. And that means that when people don't listen to them, or follow them, or pander to their particular desires and wants, they leave. They go somewhere else where they can find a following, where people will do exactly what they want them to do. When we build our lives on anything other than Jesus and his teaching, we're building our lives on something else. For the false prophets, they build it on themselves. For others of us, it may be on something like our family, or our future, or our education, or material possessions, or anything like that. Whatever it is that we build on, if it's not Jesus, it'll let us down. When the storms of life come, and they certainly will find that the foundation of self, family, future, education, possessions, or whatever it might be, will probably collapse for us. The only thing that will remain firm in all situations is Jesus Christ, his teaching and his life. When we listen to what he says and live it out every day, we're making the choice to build our life on him. We'll spend a few moments reflecting on these things for ourselves.
Has there ever been a time in your life when everything revolved around you, or your family, or your education, or material possessions, or something else? How did you experience life when things weren't plain sailing? How does it make you feel to know that you have a choice to follow the words and life of Jesus every day, and that doing so means you're making the choice to build on a firm foundation? What decisions might you make that will help you choose to build your life on the solid foundation which is Jesus? Pause here for a moment to talk with God. Confess those choices that build not on Christ but on self, and ask Him to fill you with courage and grace to choose to build on Christ and Christ alone.
blessing for us as we finish. Spirit of the Lord, rest upon you, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and power, the spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. May you delight in the Lord now and always. Amen.